Dr. Laura Dabney talking to you this month about increasing the intimacy in your relationship, but outside the bedroom. We've talked before, several months ago, about increasing your intimacy in the bedroom, which is super important. But what also increases the intimacy in the bedroom is the intimacy outside the bedroom. In other words, there can be intimacy in your daily lives and should be for a healthy relationship. Most people come to me actually with relationship problems have this problem. The intimacy is just not there on a daily basis, and of course then their sex life suffers. So today I want to focus on the importance of changing your approach, with the end result being increasing the intimacy. Again, so many people are in the weeds of their relationship. They're very focused on details and daily life routines, and they're not stepping back and thinking about the destructive patterns that have developed over the years. Almost everybody who comes to see me has these destructive patterns. It isn't just these arguments aren't all separate things. If you look closer or with a broader angle, you'll see that the patterns are similar. And if you can get a hold of a pattern, all you need to do is change one part of the pattern, and all of those arguments that fall in that pattern change, and often for the better. So, I'd like you to take a look now at the patterns that you contribute to the destructive patterns in your relationship. So if you think about arguments you've had in the past, are you typically the one who backs down, lets things go, doesn't want to approach anything because it might get ugly or tense, right? I have to avoid a confrontation. Or are you the go-getter, not letting that go, work, I'm going to tackle that, we're going to get to the bottom of this, I'm going to prove my point? Are you that person? Do your arguments tend to start with you, I'm going to make my point and make her see, get this right? Okay, if you're that person, that's another pattern that may be destructive in your relationship. The key is people tend to idealize one of these approaches, right? People who are have a strained relationship tend to favor one of these. Personality-wise, yes, okay, we may lean towards one. But in a relationship that's not going well, somebody idealizes one of those. And typically one idealizes one and the other the other. So which are you? If you're the one who's the passive one, it's imperative that you see that sometimes passivity isn't the best choice, right? Passivity isn't, avoiding confrontation and aggression is not the key to a happy relationship. Okay? There are times to be passive, yes, but there are also times to be aggressive, constructively. Constructive aggression includes, think about it, all kinds of things: going for a gold medal, asking for a raise, swerving to avoid a dog in the road. I mean, these are all ways to use your aggression in a constructive way. If there's some tension that you're feeling, or there's something the other person's doing wrong that's causing you some kind of negative feeling, that's the time to use constructive aggression. It's not the time to back away. It is not going to be better if you just ignore that, because those negative feelings that you're feeling are there, probably felt by your significant other, confusing him or her, but also they build within you and always leak out in some much more destructive way. So, for my passive people out there, the avoiders, here's a line to use to help you bridge that gap. Because I know it's going to be hard for you just to go and say, hey, you're pissing me off, right? So here's the line. I'm very anxious because I have to talk to you about something that's between us, and I don't want to be between us anymore. I'd like to have this conversation with you, but I just need to let you know I'm really nervous about it. Okay? Use a line, something like that. Go ahead and talk about your anxiety. You don't have to dive right into the topic. In fact, if you talk about your anxiety, then your significant other will know you're already in pain, and is a better chance it won't the conversation won't go off course. Okay? So that's a line you can use. It increases the intimacy because you're revealing more, not avoiding more. Remember, revealing is intimacy. Getting someone getting to know you. The good, bad, the ugly is the point, is the fuel behind intimacy. Okay. Now, for my aggressors out there, the ones who, just go for it every time. There is a time to be passive. There is some value to passivity. For instance, when you step back and let a child figure out a problem on their own, you can see how that's constructive. Well, similarly in a relationship, there are times to back away, right? Step back in order to let emotions calm down or to keep an argument from happening. I have so many people say, well, it's going to turn into an argument. Well, if I say that, it's going to be an argument. Well, it takes two to argue. You have to remember you're a part of that if you're arguing. It's very hard for one person to argue by themselves. So if you feel the tension rising, there's nothing wrong with, in fact, it's much more constructive to say, whoa, I do not want this to be an argument. So I'm going to the office for a few hours. I'll be back and see you at dinner. By stepping away, when the emotions calm down, when you come back for dinner, you can do the post-mortem, which you talked about in another video. I can say, look, I'd like to try this conversation again. I just don't want to end up in an argument. And here's what I think. I should have said this a little differently. Okay? So that's tackling something, but also you want to have both. You want to have the ability to tackle something when it needs to be tackled, but also step away from something when the situation calls for that. Both are of value. One is not superior or better or more guarantee of an intimate relationship. They're both necessary. So you really need to be comfortable with both. Okay, so I hope you'll use one of those lines to help you bridge the gap between you and your significant other. Increase your intimacy outside the bedroom, right? If you really value passivity, consider constructive aggression. If you really value aggression, consider using passivity at times. Okay? Dr. Laura Dabney, and I always love hearing your stories and your examples, so give us a call, 757-340-8800.